Right, we're going to look at the Paramedic method of master edit. This method is so useful. And what I'm going to do first is go over what the Paramedic method is. And just type in Paramedic method and then go to the Purdue link and Google. So the most important thing is circle the preposition. So we have to do manually, right? And if you're trying to do this digitally, you're going to have to try to highlight. That's just way work. It's easier just to print it out and do it with pencil. But with master edit, you can simply do it without having to do anything. Actually, we'll analyze these two sentences it gives here. And let's see. So watch how fast this part becomes. You just simply paste what you want in there, hit analyze, and bam. So now we have what we're looking at. And you know that doesn't have to be, the and a aren't actually part of it, but I like having them there because oftentimes normalizations follow these words. But in these cases, we don't have to worry about that. But sometimes I'll uncheck those, just where I can have the normalizations only, or not on prepositions only that appear in the text. And I can quickly take a quick glance and find sentences that have 2 or more. So this one has 3, this one has 2. So we can go, hey, there's probably a problem with these sentences. So when you paste your text, your page of your text, and use this method, the first thing you're looking for is just highlight the, just check the prepositions that are in that text, and then see if 2 or more appear in any of your sentences, and then see if you can remove any of them. Then look at with the determiners on as well to see if you can see any normalizations, which are nouns that become verbs. Another useful thing for this software is just selecting the ly. And what this allows you to do is find adverbs very quickly. And you can see if you abuse your adverbs. If your like page is lit up with adverbs, a bunch of ly's highlighted, that's a bad thing. Like for example, if I take a page of my text here, or a page and a half of my text here, this is actually a first draft too. I've actually trained my brain not to use adverbs. So I'm only going to have a few. And let's see how many adverbs I have. Get rid of A. So not very many, as you can see. And a lot of those I can leave in there. They actually need to be there. Some of them don't, like this here can be changed. He led her into the pitch dark room, and that becomes stronger. And I can also change slowly. I've went through that when, so I can change this to, let's see, I went to a pitch dark room. That becomes a stronger, then I need to put a hyphen between that. That becomes a stronger image. Let's see here. The flashlight pierced the darkness, lighting up seats as he rolled the light over them. But I still want to, have the idea of slowly. And this actually makes the sentence stronger. Watch what happens. As if searching for something. So that, that is a stronger image than just, lighting up the seats as he slowly rolled the flashlight over them. So now it's lighting up the seats as he rolled the light over them as if searching for something. So that has a stronger image. So anyway, that's a real quick way. And oftentimes too, redundancy is found within adjectives. The adjective is kind of just repeating what was already there. And like Stephen King says, don't use adverbs, but he really does abuse them. I should probably show an example of his text really quick, one of his sentences where he clearly he used it and it didn't need to be there, the adverb. Oh, I remember actually what it was. It was directly behind the building. Directly behind is saying the same thing as behind. So you just say, it exploded behind the building. It exploded directly behind the building, saying the exact same thing. So directly is totally pointless, and that's from his novel Cell, Chapter 3. Okay, so I'm going to analyze these sentences again. Let's look at them using the Paramedic method. So we want to remove redundancy. If we don't know the rules, here are the rules right here. So pause the video, read these rules so you understand what's happening. Okay, there we go. Okay, back here. So first thing I want to do is get rid of windups. It's often like wordiness, where people just kind of write as they casually talk. The point I wish to make is that you can remove all those kind of. It is widely known that usually you can use the weak words function and look for that. So when you have this weak word function and you see that, or wait a minute, hold on. My bad, I meant the witch hunter. So you can pop on the witch hunter and you'll see that word. So oftentimes these windups will happen with the word that. Like the point I wish to make is that, it is widely known that. So you can just remove those altogether. So when looking at your sentences, do that. And then we go back to Paramedic Method and we can see, okay, I'm not going to capitalize those because I don't care to right now. So the employee is working at this company, which that is the actual subject itself. The employee is working at this company. That whole phrase is a subject. So what are they doing? What's the action? Well, they need something. So here you have the good way to use this is looking at of, and look at your prepositions and see if a weak verb comes before the preposition. In this case, it does. Are in need just means what? That they need. So they need. The employees working at this company need, we can get rid of now, a much better manager of their money. And so always look especially for the word of. Can you change this part, what comes after of, and put it in front of the word, so you have manager of, can money come before manager? In this case, yes, a better money manager. So you want to look for that in your writing, especially when you're look for like ofs and stuff. And so the reason why I have the and a and an is because oftentimes nominalizations come after of a or an, so that's why those are there. Now in this sentence we have in appears 2 times. See how much time I have left for this video. Okay, a couple more minutes. So the engineers at Scandia Labs is the subject. What are they doing? Well, see, the action has been lost to nominalization. Have become active participants. Notice participants is a nominalization. It should be participated. So we can get rid of all of that, and now we have our verb, which is participated. The engineers at Scandia Labs participated in the search and rescue operations in most years. But that's kind of odd, the whole in most years thing. And we can move it to the beginning, but in most years, the engineers at Scandia Labs, but we'll just change that to in recent years, sounds better. And voila, in recent years, the engineers at Sandia Labs participated in the search and rescue operations. Voila, so that's how you use this paramedic method, and you can really, strengthen a lot of your sentences. I don't seem to really have a problem with using like of and stuff too often, so the paramedic method is still very useful to me, but for different reasons. I don't use nominalizations very often, and when I do, they're usually needed, and I don't, abuse this whole of in thing, the prepositions, too many prepositional phrases. But if you notice, there's a lot of preposition, more than 2. If there's 2 or more prepositions in a sentence, like the words in, of, on, into, for, then you want to look closely at those sentences and see, look before, make sure there's not a weak verb before them, and then look after it, and find the subject. What's he doing? Make sure that what he's doing is actually a verb and not lost in a nominalization. Manager of money. Look for of words like that, manager of money, and see, can I move the word? So in case of manager of money, can I move the word that comes after of before the word that comes before of? In other words, can I read it as just money manager? And so you want to look for things like that, because oftentimes it's stronger when worded that way. Okay, so anyway, that is how you use the paramedic method. It saves a lot of time, especially if you use this traditional method. This version can save you a lot of time. And then after you analyze it, you can actually copy this with all the highlights, paste it into like Word, and then print it. Or you can even put it in like WordPad and then print it, because it'll retain the highlights. And then you can look at it on paper and analyze it that way.